Hey, good afternoon and happy Thursday. You're looking at a live look at Cloudgate here in Millennium Park, right off Michigan Avenue and Washington. See, it's still gated up. Hopefully we'll see those gates coming down within the next couple of months. What's up, stuff? Rosa, what's cracking? You can see historic Michigan Boulevard from here. And today we are going to explore downtown Chicago a little bit on this beautiful spring day. I'm going to talk to you about a few updates I have coming for the channel. I'm preparing a pretty big launch that I'm been alluding to. I'll be talking to you guys about my private walking tours that I now offer. You can see a lot of people visiting Millennium Park, taking advantage of this beautiful weather. What's up, Burn Jello? What up? So there's a lot to see and do at the moment. Yesterday, we took a nice long walk around Logan Square, Chicago. And today, we're back downtown. What's up, Crystal? So you can see Cloudgate, aka the Bean, and the beautiful backdrop, as well as all the people taking pictures and selfies. It's a pretty common scene here. Just wait till those gates come down and people will be all over touching the Bean and lying down underneath it. See a part of the beautiful skyline off in the distance. What's up, Alejandro? Riffic 34. Get some of the best views of the skyline from Millennium Park. Prudential, Trump Tower. What's up, Ledger Domain? Good to see you again. And this is a Millennium Park that is fully in bloom with flowers and trees. You got the Aeon Center over there, aka the Standard Oil Building. Now over here, they're planning another observatory. There's going to be a glass elevator that takes people to the top outside the building. Probably won't be up for another few years. Does anybody know the artist who designed Cloudgate? If you do, put it in the chat. And let's walk around Millennium Park a bit. Appreciate the tourists that have come to visit our great city. What's up, Michael? Stuff. Let's see. Stuff, yes, I've seen your recommendation list for clearing. Appreciate it. All right. It's another view of the beam. Good spot to take a photo. And you can see it's an absolutely gorgeous day here in Chicago. Absolutely beautiful. If you live in the area, take advantage, go to a park, hit the lakefront, maybe the Riverwalk. Yes, and thank you for answering the trivia. I'll try to incorporate some more trivia into these tours. I'll get there. You can see way off in the distance, the Chicago Cultural Center, which is still closed, by the way. I checked again just now. But if you're looking to take a good photo of the bean, I would say early morning would be your best bet, right when the park opens, or later in the evening. Unless you know how to do those tricks that take people out of the photos. John McDade headed to Montrose Beach soon to say hey to Monty and Rose. Nice. Crystal says your filming makes me want to come down there more than any photo of the park. Thank you. It's nice in Millennium Park. I always have fun when I'm here. I always enjoy just the different aspects of the park. I'm thankful for stuff like this in our city. This is the Pritzker bandshell, designed by Frank Gehry. And this is where you have all sorts of concerts. I've seen a yoga class happen here before. Right now it's still roped off, so I guess they still don't want people on the lawn, which I'm assuming will change somewhat soon. Looks like the washrooms are open right now, and that's a pretty big deal because for the last couple of months, all of our public washrooms along the parks, on the lakefront trail, they were closed off, which made things a little bit more difficult because you basically had to duck into like a restaurant or a department store or something like that to use the washroom. So it's good that they're opening up again. So the Pritzker bandshell, really nice, especially if you're viewing it from the proper angle. Hopkins Sam says, new to Chicago, welcome. Best way to cross Lakeshore over to the beach from the park there. You could just take Monroe. We've been blessed with some beautiful weather over the last few days. It's just really, really nice. And personally, I have been working on a lot of new content that I'll be launching next week. We got some school children out here right now, so bear with me 1 second. Off in the distance you can see Jeannie Gang's Aqua Tower. That's part of Lakeshore East, which we might see is part of the loop. What's good, YouTube? It's Louis Gusto. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another live Chicago walking tour, another one. Today we are once again in downtown Chicago, specifically the Loop community area, which consists of Lakeshore East and the Loop. You also have Grant Park, Millennium Park, several skyscrapers, things to do, good restaurants, lots of people, public transit. So we're gonna walk around downtown, we're gonna explore, maybe find new things, learn new facts, see new sights. If you are new here, basically that's the vibes. We talk about the buildings, the history of the city, interesting stories, personal experiences. We give you an inside look at Chicago so you can experience it just like a local. And before we continue our tour, go ahead and finesse that like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and check out my Patreon page for it. And a really amazing community. For more ways to support the channel, check the links in the description below. I also now offer private walking tours of the city of Chicago, customized to your specific interests. Come along with a Chicago tour guide and have a great time. So let's keep going. That was one heck of an intro, I say. So for the most part, Millennium Park is open. Over the last few months, we've seen a lot of temporary changes all around the park. For a while, the pedestrian bridge was closed off. That is now open. Victor, Maud, and Abu Bakr, what's going on? The Bean has been fenced off for almost a year now. The lawn in front of the Pritzker bandshell has been roped off. What's going on, Joe? Thank you, killing it as usual with shoes today. Got the Epic Reacts still, and I was looking on Nike's website for some something similar, but they really are not doing well with the designs at the moment. There's some Jordan Delta 2s with some React foam, which I might pick up. So we'll see. That's that beautiful skyline. This is a bridge that takes you to the Art Institute, but that is still currently closed. And over here you have a nice map of the whole park. What's up, Lena? Choosing new shoes is really tough. Yeah. I got some new Jordans just yesterday. I think they came in. The new 11 low tops. Good summer shoe. But typically, I don't wear my retros when I do a walking tour. I throw on something that's better, obviously, for walking. What's up, Cassandra? Can't wait to move to Chicago in January. Thanks for your awesome content. Thank you for watching. So does anybody know what Millennium Park used to be? The Millennium Park finally opened in 2004. A few years late. That's pretty par for the course when it comes to sound negative. But that's just how it goes. At least that's been the usual track record. Yes, stuff is right. It was a rail yard before Millennium Park was here. This was basically railroad tracks and stuff like that. But if you go back even further in history, the Cubs used to play baseball here. Now, as far as I've seen, there is no plaque or historical marker that shows where the Cubs stadium was, which is kind of a shame. I think that would be a nice addition to Millennium Park. Maybe we can petition the city to work with the Chicago Historical Society and get us like a nice home plate plaque to put somewhere in Millennium Park. Or maybe it's even here and I just haven't come across it. Up ahead, you can see NEMA Chicago, which is the tallest apartment building in the city. And I had somebody comment the other day that, oh, the St. Regis is now the tallest apartment building. Well, St. Regis is the third tallest building in the city. However, it is a hotel and condo building, whereas NEMA is an apartment building. So that's the difference with that. When you're talking about tallest buildings in the city, you've got, of course, Sears Tower, then Trump Tower, then St. Regis. Aon Center, and the John Hancock Center rounds out the top 5. Yeah, Stuff, you are pounding out these trivia questions. Good job. So speaking of the rail yard that used to exist here, you can see it up ahead. So you can see the railroad tracks and all the infrastructure for rail yard that now goes underground. Joe from Tower. This is Monroe right here, and then across the way you've got the Art Institute of Chicago, both the original wing and the modern wing. It's a great view of that. And there's the bridge that I was telling you about. Got to get some really lovely views from that. This is Monroe and Michigan Avenue off in the distance. Officially, this is known as the Chase Promenade. What's up, Zoki? How's the skateboarding scene in Chicago? Well, I'm not part of the skateboarding scene, but I do see a lot of skaters, and there are at least a few really nice skate parks in the city. So you got the Grant Skate Park and many more. David says to think there are still people that think Millennium was a waste of money. Yeah, I think you'll always have people like that. Good morning, Mary. Another beautiful day in Chi-Town. Yes. Anuj, what's up? You'll be attending DePaul in September. Excited to see the city in your video. Definitely got a lot of great content coming up. So on Monday, I'm launching officially my summertime shy content. I've got a collaboration with Here Be Bar. I've got some more lifestyle videos, and then travel videos will be following shortly thereafter. So you'll probably see a lot more content than normal on my channel. Hey, what's up? Jaycation's in the building. What's going on, bro? See ya. Resident San Diego, bro. I've been enjoying those looks into Las Vegas and San Diego, so thank you for that. Somebody is really chiefing around here. So beautiful, beautiful views. Crystal asked if masks are still mandatory when going out in Chicago. Yeah, Crystal, you pretty much want to have a mask, because if you need to go inside for any reason, if you need to take public transit, go to a restaurant, museum, etc., you're gonna need a mask. And that's gonna continue for the foreseeable future. I don't see that going away anytime soon. Now, as far as being outside, I would say if you're in a large crowd outside, I would still personally wear a mask. Right now, I'm not, because I'm kind of keeping my distance from everybody. Yeah, Jay Keisha, I hope we connect down the road too. I'm sure we will. So I'll send you a message actually, because I'll be doing some traveling here at the end of this month. What's up, Kane, Hustle, and Katsumi? Loving how clear the stream is. That's good. That's good to know. I'm glad. Maybe because it's a sunny day with no clouds. Now, Millennium Park is broken up into different sections. So you've got Wrigley Square, the Chase Promenade. Over here, what we're seeing is Crown Fountain. I don't think it's on right now, but normally these are the faces that you see spitting water into, well, there's no basin or anything, it's just flat ground, and I guess they got some drainage. Katsumi asked if the museums are open yet. Plenty of museums open, most of them are. Anuj with the super sticker. Hey, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Anuj. Thank you for the love. Over here you have this interesting art installation. Actually, let's go take a look at the name of it, because I'm not even sure what it's called. And then we're gonna see nature all around here, which is one of the great features of this park. So this work is by Christine Tarkowski. And the title of this work is, okay, I think this is actually the title. When we call the Earth by way of distinction a planet and the Moon a satellite, we should consider whether we do not in a certain sense mistake the matter. Perhaps, and not unlikely, the Moon is the planet and the Earth is the satellite. Are we not a larger moon to the Moon than she is to us? All right, so let's take a look at these pieces of the art. Very colorful, almost look like jewels. Infinity stones. Yes. That's a good one. I don't know that those are plastic actually. They might be like some kind of polymer blend or something. Maybe some kind of fiberglass. So this is the Crown Fountain. When this is on a normal summer day, this place is really packed. Off in the distance, you have two of Chicago's Gothic beauties, the University Club on your right and the Monroe Building on your left. The University Club was designed for alumni of prestigious universities. That's why it retains that Gothic collegiate look. What's up, Sachin? What up, Arlene? Got the Chicago Athletic Club back there. And the other crown fountain, which is off right now. Speaking of fountains, though, the Buckingham Fountain will be turned on in about 9 days. So that's gonna be great. That's people's lunches so the bears don't get to them. So Millennium Park, as far as when you're talking about the nature side of things, these are all, for the most part, native plants. Sarah, what's up? From all the way in Kuwait. How you doing? Hustle Hoops. As far as areas to move, I have lots of videos on the channel. So just look through my channel and you'll find plenty of videos dealing with finding an apartment, choosing a place to live. What's up, Laura? Beautiful day, I agree. The temperature's about 63 right now, Fahrenheit. I'm sure Nightbot will put it in Celsius as well. You got a lot of flowers. SKKS, what's going on? All the way out in Seattle. Hopefully you're having some good weather too. The McCormick Tribune Plaza is here. And inside the main feature is the what is an ice skating rink in the winter. But right now it's just a slab of empty space. They also sometimes transform this into an outdoor dining area. I'm assuming that's gonna come back on the 4th of July. But of course I can't be certain. Then up there you can see the Bean in all its glory. They still have some leftover signs. Millennium Park is closed to the public until further notice. I think they need to put that one away. Have any of you watching gone ice skating in Millennium Park? I have, but it's been a few years. Best believe though, when it comes back this year, I'll be doing some skating and take my action cam so I can get some dope footage. What's up, Arya? Anuj says, I heard winters are scary. It's not too bad. I've got a couple of videos on how to survive the winter in Chicago. Just got to take some precautions, dress appropriately and whatnot. From here you have a beautiful view. You can see off in the distance the Washington Wells train station, which was recently renovated.
So get on man.
Up ahead, you got once again the Cloud Gate. What's up, Cheyenne? So relaxing watching these. I'm glad to hear that. Trying to bring some good vibes. Share this beautiful slice of the city with you guys. But you're always gonna see people taking photos with the bean. It is the most popular piece of art in the entire city. Looks like we got a walking tour happening right here too.
Exactly. This was the main drag of the city. What's the news?
Over there is the Pritzker brand shell. Once again, you can kind of get a nice side view from it, of it. Cool 95 rocks. What up? Need to go to Navy Pier soon. Hope to go tomorrow. We actually paid a quick visit last weekend. Wasn't even that crowded. David says before it was the Picasso. I was thinking that, David. I was like, I wonder if the Picasso was like the old bean, so to speak. This is where you have the official City of Chicago Christmas tree during the Christmas season. That kind of empty slab, circular, that you see is where the tree goes. So Laura and Mike. Mike says moving to West Loop in 1 month. This makes me sad and I'm not there yet. So we're headed to Wrigley Square now. Another really nice part of the park. Wrigley Square not nearly as popular with tourists. You can see the difference. There are 2 people sitting on a bench and about 6 people walking, 7 including myself. There's some pigeon friends. That's Rosa says, that's wonderful to hear. The colorful lights are always so beautiful. Chris asked, where is Grant Park in proximity to Millennium Park? So actually, Crystal, Millennium Park is a part of Grant Park, which I know it sounds weird, but technically this whole area of green space right on the lake between Roosevelt and Randolph is Grant Park. And it goes from Michigan east to Lake Michigan. So Michigan Avenue to Lake Michigan. So Michigan Avenue has its name because the shoreline of Lake Michigan was just like a couple of 100 feet away from where we're standing right now. It took many years, but the shoreline receded to its present location. And that's also why you have the railroad tracks where you have them, but that's a whole other story. This beautiful Greek colonnade right here. Nice Doric columns, very reminiscent of ancient Greece, of ancient Rome, but right here in the Windy City. Very beautiful. I love stuff like this. You'll find a fountain in front, which I'm assuming will turn on late May as well. And then you have a look at the founders of Millennium Park, which we'll see. We'll go take a closer look. What's up, Jason? Here's that fountain. Wrigley Square was dedicated in October of 2002. Monument that stood here was designed by Edward Bennett. Whatever happened to that? It's a peristyle, not a colonnade. Okay, my bad. It had to be demolished in 1953. The reason I was wondering about that is because I've seen pictures of Michigan Avenue from the 30s and 40s, and I've seen this peristyle. But then every time I look, it says, oh, this was from the 2000s. So I got confused. I wasn't sure if these were restorations, but it looks like they're replacements of the original. So that's good. There you go. I learned something new today about Wrigley Square. So the original peristyle that stood here, designed by Edward Bennett, who famously co-authored the 1909 Plan of Chicago with Daniel Burnham. But they weren't properly maintained and had to be demolished. So, there you go. What's up, Rafaela? There's a seagull friend. Hey, what's up, Tane? Welcome back. A lot of birds out today. So Wrigley Square is it's going to be a more low-key section of Millennium Park. If you want to avoid some of the crowds. That looks like a rare bird over there. Has a little bit of blue or bluish green on its wings. Watching birds is like hunting Pokemon, stuff says. Crystal asks, what time does the park close? I want to say 11. That's typically when Chicago parks like this close. Hopkins asked if the pedestrian bridge to the Maggie Daly grounds are open. Yes, they are. I don't know why, but to me, Millennium Park seems so much smaller when it's less crowded. Through it. But I feel like all the times I've been here and it's been crowded for a festival or just like a typical summer day with a lot of tourists, I feel like it's felt immense. It's another piece of art. This is a screen house constructed from 400 blocks of charcoal gray colored cast concrete. I did not know this was an art installation. I've seen this a bunch of times. I thought it was something left over from like a food stall or something. Cheyenne says, I read online that Buckingham turns on May 22nd. Yes, finally. It has not been on in over a year. It's a pretty cool installation. What's up, CJ? One of my favorite places in the city. Millennium is small but beautiful. What's up, L, the original? It says, I love Chicago. I'm in Wisconsin. We'll actually be visiting Wisconsin a little bit later this year. got plans for that. Can't wait. Nina says, that's so beautiful. I agree. You can see all the trees in bloom, flowers. What's up, Joven Jr.? Chica. It's going to be a great summer for enjoying the parks here in the city. There are so many around that I haven't visited yet. Last month I spent a lot of time in Pingtom Park. Really love it out there. I've been spending time in Jackson Park a lot. Really love Jackson Park. The wooded island, the view of the Museum of Science and Industry, extremely beautiful. Lincoln Park, of course, Chicago's largest park. Oz Park with its Wizard of Oz statues. Of course, Grant Park is huge as well. And then you got smaller parks all over the city. What's up, Gary? Lena says, I want to visit Chinatown. Definitely do it. Get some good food, get some culture. I think there's some kind of event happening on Sunday over there. I have plans on Sunday, so I might not be able to make it, but I think there's some kind of little festival going on with some restaurants participating. What's up, KT Wolf? Asking about the Crown Fountain, whether it'll be on this summer. I think so. But I think when that happens, it'll probably be the same day that the fences around the beam come down. That's just my hunch. Shika says, I planned all my meals from you. Thanks. I'm glad to hear that. Enjoy Canary Islands, says greetings from Gran Canaria in Spain. That is on my list of world destinations. CJ says spending the afternoon walking through Millennium after a day's work is the best routine. That is so true. That's one of the things I loved about working in the Loop when I was at the Rookery. I would love to come to the Art Institute on a lunch break, and then in the evening come to Millennium Park and just hang out for a little bit. We're coming into the Lurie Garden. Lurie Garden is a beautiful escape within an escape. So Millennium Park itself is already a nice refuge from the hustle and bustle. But Lurie Garden is an escape within that. And you can see how it's got these gigantic hedges. Anuj says, I should visit India too. Absolutely, would love to. This is another great view. It's meant to recreate the prairie landscape of Chicago's past. Gary says, I'm sad I won't be coming to Chicago to set up Lollapalooza this year. Dang, is that really canceled for good? this year? I didn't know that. Great views. Thanks for the great tour as usual. My pleasure, Gary. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So on a day like today where the sun is just beating down, you've got a light breeze and it's in the 60s, I think a t-shirt and a pair of athletic pants is fine, and that's what I'm wearing right now. You can see across the way the modern wing of the Art Institute, designed by Renzo Piano. And then when you walk around the Lurie Garden, you can see all sorts of plants and flowers native to Illinois. That's been a really important development over the last several years around the city. It's good to reintroduce these native plants. It's good for the ecology. It's good for the birds that migrate. And this is what a lot of Chicago looked like. This was a combination of prairie, swamp, and sand dunes. And Chicago's mostly flat. Why is that? Why does Chicago not have any mountains or significant hills? Well, it's because in ancient history there was a gigantic glacier, bigger than the Merchandise Mart and taller than the Sears Tower. Don't quote me on those comparisons because I don't know for sure, right? But you know what I mean. You get the idea. Gary asked, do I carry note cards or something? Yeah, Gary, sometimes I have notes on me when I'm doing a really detailed tour or something more for the first time, but I've walked around this area so many times that I've committed a lot to the memory, but I like to have my notes on me when it's recalling like a specific date or name. But I have memorized a good deal of information. I appreciate the kind words. Rafaela asked, when did it start to warm up this year? Well, the thing is, it's in spring in Chicago. It'll be warm one day, cold the next. So like you'll have a day like this that's sunny and 60. Then the next day it could be 35, rainy and windy. With that said though, I feel like we've made it past the last stretch of cold weather. But it's Chicago, so you never know. You never know here with the weather. Stuff says he's the whole book. Crystal says I have a nice speaking voice. I appreciate that, Crystal. Thank you. Anuj, yes, that is the Sears Tower off in the distance. But it's easy to overlook the Lurie Garden because of the fact that it's somewhat closed off from the rest of Millennium Park. CJ Willis says, my last name is Willis, so I still call it the Sears Tower. Mary D says, I used to live by Highland Park and it would snow in June. I believe that. Looks like we got a little bit of construction. Some improvements happening by here. up, Siki? So I have a really exciting collaboration coming with John of Here Be Bar, and I've talked about it a couple times. Basically, he's gonna have a video first on his channel, and I'll probably upload my version on Monday. That's what I'm thinking. That's gonna be the official launch of my summertime content. This is the BP pedestrian bridge that will... What's nice about this bridge, I said it before, is it's a winding road. And the surface is wood, what you walk over. And the curves are good for us. So the city is built on a grid, which is good for buildings and urban planning. But as humans, we enjoy windy roads like this for leisure and stuff. Siki says, I was in Chicago for the first time last weekend. Found your channel before I went. Very helpful content. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you had, well, I hope you had a great time. Stuff says the BP bridge looks fun to bike. Yeah, that's a good point. It takes you right over Columbus Drive and gives you another nice view of the skyline. Slightly higher than before. And you got the trees obscuring. Up at the top you can see Nima above the tree. So that's Columbus Drive down there. And I find these little stone medians pretty interesting. Looks like a nice throwback. Ooh, there's a nice breeze coming off the lake. I can feel it. So over in the distance, you've got Maggie Daley Park. You can see the residential towers of the South Loop and the rear entrance of the Art Institute. Also the entrance for the School of the Art Institute. There you go, live look at Columbus Drive. Jason says the design reminds me of the Disney concert hall in LA. Jason, I actually think that's a great point. I think that it's by the same designer, Frank Gehry. So you got a gorgeous view. And then Maggie Daley Park has plenty of activities like rock climbing, a skating ribbon in the winter. miniature golf, playgrounds. Popescu says shiny bridge. Yes, very shiny. So when I'm talking about windy roads, that's been a design here in Chicago for a long time when it comes to parks. So Calvert Vaux and Frank Law Olmsted were big fans of winding roads in parks. And when they designed their first suburb here in the Chicago area, Riverside, which still exists to this day, they designed winding roads to give it a more park-like feel. And you can find similar designs in Graceland Cemetery and the other Victorian cemeteries in the city. They have winding roads. That's a really nice design that we as humans really enjoy. After all, when you're in a park, you're not in a rush. You're taking your time. Oscar says just got back from Chicago. It was cold there. Yeah, Oscar, it was cold this past weekend. Siki says when I was there it was 44 and rainy. Yeah. That's how it is. All right, so welcome to Maggie Daly Park. What's up, gaming Aaron? I might try to do a meetup of some sort down the road once once things are kind of more back to normal. I made sure to put on my sunscreen today before heading out. Here's the entrance to one of the playgrounds. It's like a boat. CJ asked if mini golf is open. Yeah, it looked like it. It looked like you got a bunch of school children playing mini golf right now. Here's the transition from spring to summer in Chicago. It's kind of sad. The flowers start to go away and they're replaced with regular green. There's something sad about that for me. There's the St. Regis back there. Third tallest building in the city, formerly known as the Wanda Vista Tower. Why did they change the name? Well, because funding ran out. A new company took over. This is not exactly a hidden gem, but if you're visiting Chicago and want something a little bit quieter, a little bit more secluded than Millennium Park, this is a great place to visit. There you have Prudential Tower. Rock climbing is off in the distance as well. Jason is noticing lots of red-winged blackbirds. Yes, they are pretty populated populated down here. I see them quite frequently, and those birds are aggressive. If you make a wrong move, they will dive bomb your head. Trust me, it's happened to me. Got some log benches right here. Sci-Fi says, hello, Chicago. We're now in the Cancer Survivors Garden here in Maggie Daley Park. Rafaela asked if I can talk about living in the loop. I'm working on a video to that effect, so keep it locked for that. Rosa says, thank you for the great tour today. It's awesome and I'm truly enjoying it. I'm glad to hear that. Hope to bring you some super positive vibes, and thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you for the love. Deming, good afternoon. What's going on? So along here you have some nice planters. A nice grassy median with benches all along. So these have little messages here. Seek and accept support. Make plans for pleasant things to do and goals to accomplish. I'm assuming these are messages to patients with cancer and cancer survivors. That's pretty powerful, these messages. Up ahead is one of my favorite monuments in the city. That's just because I really love Greek columns. Kind of gives this little area Roman Forum vibes, even if it is just 2 Corinthian columns. But you can frame this up pretty nicely with the St. Regis here. Ranger says, I like all the trees. Same here. So if you're looking at the top of the St. Regis, you might see that empty space up there, and you may be tempted to think that the tower is not finished. However, you would be incorrect in that assumption. That is a blow-through area. I forget which floor it is, but that is necessary to prevent the building the tower from swaying too much during high winds. So you've got a blow-through floor with water tanks to keep the balance. What's up, Henrik? So without those things, the tower would just move way too much in high wind situations. Alongside these Greek columns, you have these Art Deco structures you'll see on Lakeshore Drive over the river. And up ahead is the quote neighborhood unquote of Lakeshore East. And I use the term neighborhood very loosely in this case. So officially, we're still in the Loop community area. Sometimes this is referred to as the new East Side. It's a mostly residential development. There you go. Beautiful skyline views. Clouds are out, quite lovely. Last time we took a tour of this, insanely windy. Sci-Fi says New York and Chicago are certainly different. Yes, they're different, and they also have many, many connections. I've talked about a few. One that I was just reading about again this morning was Evanston Avenue in Chicago was renamed Broadway in 1913 after the theater district and street in New York. And the Uptown community area also gets its name from New York. So I'll talk about that more when I do my Uptown content, which is coming soon. It's what my patrons want to see next outside of downtown. So that'll be coming very soon. We're approaching Benton Place and Field Boulevard. No doubt named for Marshall Field, famous department store mogul. And from here you can see an amazing view of Aqua Tower, designed by Gene Gang. Take a look at the wavy balconies that are to evoke images of water. Next door to that, you have the Illinois Center, designed by Mies van der Rohe. But like I said, this is a mostly residential development. Grudgingly call it a neighborhood, but you know, it is what it is. It's right on the river, hemmed in by Millennium Park. It has the vibes of a private gated community, even though it is part of the city. In the middle of Lakeshore East, you've got a magnificent park, which we'll see. Got playgrounds in there as well. Deming says, I think Aqua Tower is the coolest. Really is nice. Jeannie Gang is an amazingly talented architect, and I just learned that she MacArthur Genius Grant, holding on to it. What's up, Jordan? Henrik. Skyscraper. I knew it's not just you. I think over there's a little bit of cell interference, and looks like we're back though. Ideen asked what's my favorite skyscraper in Chicago. That would be the John Hancock Center. SKKS forgot the like. Thank you. Appreciate you finessing that like button. What's up, Tanya? Nice day in Chicago. Yes. Beautiful out today. Ideen says let's get to 10K by July. Ideen, honestly, I have a strong feeling we're gonna hit 10K before the end of May. Because I have a lot of great stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. What's up, Mohombi?
Let it go back to 2 days. What if I want to see the other days? Can I not do it morally?
This is Randolph over here. So like I said, we've got park space from Randolph on the north to Roosevelt on the south Michigan Avenue on the west and Lake Michigan on the east. Here's another entrance to Maggie Daley Park. Diana, thank you so much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. You can see how sunny it is right now. I got the Ray-Bans on once again. Here's a look, an aerial look. Is the skating ribbon in the winter. You got also some rock climbing walls, which look to be closed still. I think over there in front of the Aeon Center, they are reconstructing that plaza. So, like I said earlier, yesterday we did Logan Square, and the next area of Chicago outside of downtown that we'll likely hit is Uptown, as voted on by my Patreon members. So that will be coming soon. Got a busy weekend of filming ahead, and on Monday we'll be launching all new content on the channel. Private walking tours of the city. Check the link below. I do have a private tour this weekend. Diana says, love your informative videos about Chicago, much appreciated. Thank you so much, Diana. Rosalind says, hi, looks like a lovely day. Absolutely. Here's another look over Columbus. This bridge is, or this Randolph elevated is not quite as beautiful as the pedestrian bridge over there, but it does the same job, more or less. Henrik says, coffee Chicago. Good coffee here for sure. This is the Aeon Center, once known as the Standard Oil Building. At one time, quite recently, it was the third tallest building in the city. Now sitting at number 4. Flags across the way as well. What's up, Lawrence? Rosalind says Zepho looks cleaner than New York. I hear that a lot, yeah. Well, New York doesn't have the benefit of alleys, which is the biggest difference. Of the US state flags, which I don't think you can find in emoji form, but that would be kind of dope. Anybody have a favorite state flag? It's a nice art installation that plays music. Rosalind likes the Texas flag. I like the California, Illinois flags. The Florida flag has kind of like a Spanish vibe to it, at least like the Spanish battle flag. We'll go on the other side and take a look at the others. But you can see they're redesigning this whole plaza in front of the Aeon Center. Hashem, what's up? Lawrence, what's going on? Henry from NYC. Mary D likes Arizona. Hashem hopped in right at 100 likes. That's pretty cool. Here's some more state flags. There's the Florida flag, which as a teenager I saw a lot growing up in Florida. Got Iowa, California. Then you can hear the sounds of this art installation right here next to me. I said this before, but I had an interview almost 2 years ago now inside the Aeon Center for an engineering company. But truth be told, they were kind of whack. I couldn't really picture myself working there, so it wasn't a good fit. We got the Idaho flag, Montana, Oregon with the beaver on it. California, of course, has a bear. Lawrence asked, where does Mr. T live? I have no idea. Hashem asked, how much of this channel will be Chicago content after the pandemic begins to let up? I still a good portion. Basically, the three pillars of this channel are Chicago, travel, and lifestyle. So anytime I can combine those, whether that be Chicago and lifestyle, Chicago and travel, or travel and lifestyle, Jason asked about the 4 stars on the Chicago flag. So those symbolize, the first star symbolizes Fort Dearborn. The second star symbolizes the Great Fire of 1871. The third star represents the World's Columbian Exposition of 1893. And the final star, hopefully the final star, it symbolizes the 1933 Century of Progress Fair. You can see off in the distance the Chicago and Illinois flag flying across the street. Yorea Azul Mar says, saludos from Puerto Rico. I will visit Chicago soon. Beautiful weather like yesterday, yes. Alejandro, I'm eating an RX bar. Snack company's headquartered right here in Chicago. This one is the banana chocolate walnut. Nice view of the flags waving. So we're about to get up and continue walking. That's a tall building. The facade of the Aeon Center was once Italian marble. However, it was not secured to the building properly and began falling right off. So an urgent change was necessary, and they removed the remainder of the marble from this building's facade. Wish I could have seen it though. Must have been pretty nice. What's up, Twana? Is the Aeon Center about to get an observation deck? Yes, they unless those plans have somehow changed recently, but last I read it was going to be a nice glass elevator to take you to the observation deck, which will be nice. I think you'll get some amazing views of the park and the lake from there. Chicago could use some more observation decks, if I'm being real. New York City has quite a few. They've got the Edge, of course the Empire State Building, top of the Rock. I've actually never been to the top of the Empire State Building. I think I'm gonna put that as like my top priority when I go to New York City later in the year. I've been to the top of the Rock a couple of times because I know that's the better view, but I think I just want to visit the Empire State Building just so that I can check that off my list, you know what I mean? There's John Hancock Center off in the distance over yonder, and we're in between buildings, so get a little bit of shade and a nice rapid breeze. What's up, B? Hashem says it's pretty good. These are some Mies van der Rohe designed buildings here. Henrik says Chicago home. Yes. Up ahead you can see Michigan Avenue, which was once called Michigan Boulevard. Lawrence asking about Chicago PD show location. I have no idea. I've actually never watched Chicago PD or Chicago Fire or Chicago Med. My favorite Chicago content, other than what I personally make, would be WTTW, Chicago Sun-Times, and the Windy City Breeze. My boy Pat the designer has a channel dedicated to Chicago sports, and it's one of my favorite channels on YouTube. So if you're into Chicago sports, definitely check out the Windy City Breeze on YouTube. Kanye says, I wish I could visit now. Dean asks, any plans to tour the Pedway system? Yes, Dean, I don't know what the reception situation is down there, though, so it may have to be a pre-recorded tour. There's the Wrigley building. Nice view of that one. Carbine building over there. Carbide and Carbon. Let me not stumble over my words. That was designed by the Burnham brothers, Daniel Burnham's sons, who came together and formed an architectural firm. They've got a couple of designs around the city. It's known for being designed like a champagne bottle. Lawrence asked if you can get to both baseball stadiums and the football stadium using the L train. Yeah, Lawrence, you can use the CTA Red Line to get to Wrigley Field and Comiskey. And you can take the Red Line to Roosevelt and walk east to Soldier Field. It's a little bit longer of a walk. The baseball stadiums are located like right off the L tracks, and Soldier Field is more on the lake, but it's still doable. It's Garland Court. Jason with the Garrett Popcorn money super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate it. What's up, Patrick? Got some nice architectural details on this side of the building. Got grapes, I think. This is 70 East Lake. So Lake Street is one of the longest streets in the entire city. It runs east-west pretty much the entire length of Chicago. And along that, you have L tracks that date back many years and serve the green line and the pink line today. Here is the northeastern corner of the L tracks that go around the loop. Now, keep in mind that the loop doesn't get its name from the L tracks. It actually, that name predates these train tracks and goes all the way back to streetcar days. So the streetcars in Chicago circled this downtown area, and that's how we got the loop name. Here's Harold Washington College, which also used to be called Loop College. We got some copyrighted music, so I gotta make sure that I keep talking so that it doesn't match over my voice. But this would be Wabash and Lake Street. And over there you've got Virgin Hotel. I heard they have a nice rooftop as well. Rooftop bar is a big thing here. Nordman says, I did not know that. Lawrence asked, where is the Sears Tower? It is on Wacker and Adams. Abu Bakr says that's where the L derailed. Dang. They're pretty good now about the maintenance and everything. Cheesiest Locket says, I think the weather is hot. It's okay. It's cool enough. Diana says, stay there, super cool place. So we'll be blessed with some big time train views in the next few minutes as we walk along Wabash. Ash M asked if I've been to Fire games. No, I haven't, but I want to. there's an alley. If you cross this alley, you'll get to the Chicago Theater. Ash says, MLS games are more fun than I thought they would be. Lawrence says it's so nice in Chicago. Yeah, I actually have never been to a soccer game, period. So I would love to go to a Fire game. Honestly, I want to reach out to them to see if there's somehow and some way that we can collab. What's up, Moises? ¿Qué pasó? Matthew asked about teenage-friendly rooftops for dinner or lunch. That is a great question, Matthew. I would think that the hotel rooftops, like the Wit and Virgin hotels, would be teenage friendly. But don't quote me on that. I would have to actually look into that more. But I would think that anything with any rooftop hotel would be okay, since like people are usually staying there with family. Zoki says, here's where Spider-Man appears. Yes. Yes, you're right about that. This is a filming location for Spider-Man 2, I believe. Dr. Lorca says, hello, a big huge from Chile. Chicago's amazing. Also got a little bit of wind picking up.
Hey, you know LeBron James? LeBron James, you know.
So we are in the Chicago Theater District, and up ahead you have the Cultural Center, which was the main branch of the Chicago Public Library for many, many years. And then over here you have one of the only remaining post-fire buildings in Chicago. 66 East Randolph. Beautiful Italianate structure, still standing. This is the Marshall Field and Company building, Chicago landmark. Says, I love the heart of the loop. Everywhere you turn, you see something incredible. That is so true. Everywhere you look, it's so different. Things change from block to block, which is really nice. Over here, you'll see more buildings from my post-fire architecture building. Buddha773 says, thanks for this. I'm stuck inside the house right now. You're very welcome. Appreciate you watching. Some Italianate buildings. right over here. This particular group is landmarked. The Randolph Wabash Group. This gives you a good idea of what Chicago looked like pre and post fire. So this is quintessential 1870s architecture. And across the street, you have Marshall Field and Company building. Of course, they were bought out by Macy's, but the historic plaques still remain. The history of Marshall Field goes pretty deep in the city. Moises went to school at 188 West Randolph. Very cool. My tripod is coming loose from the apparatus. There we go. Check out some of the details. Got a ship, some seahorses, a tree. Really nice. I think those are called bas reliefs. We're entering Jewelers Row, which is a Chicago landmark district known for its jewelry stores, of course. Got the Garland building right here. With that old school fire escape coming down the side. Up ahead, you have the Washington Wells CTA train station, and we're gonna see multiple jewelry stores. There's the Pittsfield building. Pittsfield was a building constructed in honor of Marshall Field. Pittsfield is his city of birth. This is now a black-owned building. They have a lobby with a cafe. If you want to check that out. Nice alternative to a chain restaurant. A cool monument to Jewelers Row right here. You can see it says Wabash Avenue and then Jewelers Row at the top. Across the way we have many jewelry stores, which we'll take a look at. Hence the name Jewelers Row. This building dates to 1912. And on the ground level you've got some jewelry. Diana says a woman's paradise. There you got the New York Jewelers with one of the most interesting website domain names, NYJ Chicago. This is not sponsored by them for sure. I just think it's a cool, interesting name. It's another little monument with a directory of the jewelry stores that you can find on Jewelers Row, or at least in the Jewelers building. This is one of the super bus stops that I really love, and a bus lane right next to it. Over here you have the Honorary Jewelers Row street sign, and up ahead the Jewelers Center, really nice neon sign. And then we'll have some more Wabash landmarks coming up ahead. A lot of landmark buildings in this area. This one right here is currently being restored. You can see some of the work being done on the facade. Not the most lovely thing to look at, but I'm sure once it's complete, it will be returned to its early glory. Abu Bakr, I don't really comment on traffic and crowds and stuff. The tours are really about history and things to do and stuff like that. So these right here are actually just facades. Now the facades are landmarked as well. But you can see the tall building right there is Millennium on the park. Now because it needed all that space for building, they demolished the buildings, kept the facades in what is commonly referred to as a facadectomy. Now for what it's worth, these facades are landmarked, so they are protected. However, the buildings that sat behind them no longer exist. So it's kind of a compromise where nobody wins. But part of the reason that these post-fire buildings survived so long along Wabash, Lake, Van Buren, and Wells is because the property values in the loop are high, but alongside the L tracks, they're not quite as high. Why? Well, you have noise, you have crowds. Early L trains were locomotives that produce pollution. So for a long time, the land values of these were quite low. Moises says, what a shame, I agree. That's another look at the Millennium on the park. Next door, you have a landmarked building that's taken over by the School of the Art Institute. What's up, Alonzo? You're Eli. Alonzo Fine Art, Eli. What up, Connor? So over here we have some similar buildings which we can now see across the street. So these are just facades, but the buildings here have thankfully been kept. And I try to give you guys a better view of this. So this to me is an important building. This is one of the final remaining buildings designed by Jonathan Mills Van Osdol. And who is John Mills Van Osdol? Well, he was Chicago's very first licensed architect. So back in the 1800s, I'll wait. Back in the early days of the city of Chicago, most people didn't see any need for architects. People who constructed buildings just designed them on their own, often very poorly. John Mills Van Osdol opened up the city's very first architectural firm and designed many of the buildings that made up the early look of Chicago, even post-fire. Unfortunately, over the years, many of his design has been wrecked. This is one of the few remaining buildings that provides us a direct link to Chicago's architectural heritage. If you want to visit this building, it's on Wabash, just north of Monroe. As it turns out, John Mills Van Osdol's son, aptly named John Mills Van Osdol II, also designed buildings and homes in Chicago. So you may have to do a little digging to find them, but you can definitely find them around. Okay, crossing over Monroe, this is Honorary Palmer House Hilton Way. Lena says beautiful buildings. Deming says Cindy's is a nice rooftop lounge. Yes, very true. This is one of the stations coming up that needs the most TLC, and that would be Adams and Wabash. Over here by the Palmer House, which is currently still closed, you have one of my favorite places to get food, Poke. So this is a good spot to come for Poke if that's what you like. I personally love it. I've had some fire ones in my day, but Poke is among the top. KT Wolf says, I didn't fully appreciate the architecture of Chicago until I watched your Hyde Park video. The buildings on the UC campus are beautiful. Yes, I agree. University of Chicago. I was actually there last weekend as well for a quick visit, which you'll probably see on my channel soon. And like I said, this is the Adams Wabash CTA train station. It's very old, quite in need of some renovation. Who knows when that will come, but yeah. So as we approach Adams Street, we're getting toward the southern part of the loop. Voice is advocating for some more likes. I appreciate it. right, so we'll turn off Wabash for the time being, get a little bit more peace and quiet. This is another restaurant I recommend, Bien Me Sabe. Get Venezuelan arepas. I talked about that restaurant on my TikTok page. And here are two of our remaining post-fire buildings. These buildings have no history, no written history that's well known. Moises says, this is like a personal tour. Louis is the best. I appreciate it. Thank you for the love. What's up, Sagar from India? We're now approaching State Street, that great street. Currently on its way to a major comeback. This summer, for 12 Sundays, about 4 blocks of State Street will be closed to car traffic. That's what I love. That's what I love to hear. Close it down to car traffic. Let pedestrians enjoy the city. Victor Wise is gorgeous. This is awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're having fun. State Street, just like most streets in Chicago, has a patchwork of architectural styles, from Chicago School to Art Deco to postmodern, classical revival, and everything in between. There you can see the Van Buren L tracks way off in the distance. So we're heading toward one of my favorite parts of the loop, and along the way we will make a couple of stops. This is the Berghoff restaurant, one of Chicago's oldest restaurants, especially when you're talking here in the loop. So it looks like they're going to be reopening late spring, early summer of 2021. So this is another set of Italianate buildings that were built immediately following the Great Fire of 1871. So you can see the Italianate design. What's up, Dan? Hello from Russia, we love you. Appreciate that. Berghoff since 1898. They have one of the first liquor licenses. In fact, I think they might have the first issued liquor license in the whole city. They also have a brewery. Moises with the super sticker. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for the love. So the Berghoff restaurant comprises several buildings. This one right here, next to the Mies van der Rohe building, is the Palmer building. And this is one of 2 remaining cast iron facade buildings in Chicago. What is cast iron facade? Well, most of these facades on buildings from the olden days are concrete. However, this one is cast iron. Actually, if we cross the street too, I can give you a slightly better view of these buildings. Juana says, I've always wanted to try that restaurant. I will eat there when they reopen. Yeah, it's pretty good. There are a few, obviously, you know, over the last several decades, a lot of old school Chicago disappears more and more. But that doesn't mean you still can't enjoy it. And there are some gems. Maybe I'll even put together a video of some classic Chicago hidden gems in the downtown area when you're talking bars and restaurants. Because I know a few. When I used to work here in the Loop. I had friends, or co-workers, I guess I should say, that would take me to some of these places. All right, still a beautiful sunshiny day. We're getting close to Chicago's financial district. Yes, Chicago has a financial district, somewhat reminiscent of Wall Street in Nueva York, but not quite as big. Moises says that's an old school sign. Very true. This is the Marquette building, named after Father Marquette, one of the earliest explorers, one of the earliest French explorers of Chicago. It's a quintessentially designed Chicago school building. Won several awards for its renovation, which I think happened in 2009, I want to say. This is along Dearborn, so you have a bus lane and a bike lane, which is what we want to see more of in Chicago, so that cyclists and scooter riders and skateboarders have more of a safe passage throughout the city. Dan says, love those wide separated bike lanes. I'm right there with you, and I hope to see more over the coming years. So here you have some scenes from early days of Chicago. Remember, this area was once populated by the indigenous people of this country. Several different tribes like Sauk, Fox, Illinois, Miami, Potawatomi. You've got some quotes from Marquette. And on the inside of the lobby, which I recommend checking out, you've got some beautiful Tiffany mosaics. Tommy Boy 97 says thinking of moving there next year. That would be a pretty good idea. Moises says they named the park after him as well. Yes. And there's also a monument, I think along Damon near the river, close to where he stayed one winter in the 1700s. I have to find that one day. Ashem says, have you seen what Paris did with bike lanes over the pandemic? Every city should be copying them. No, I haven't seen that. I need to look that up though. If you can send me a link or something on Instagram or whatever, or in the comments. I did hear about the plans to turn Champs-Élysées, to transform it into a more pedestrian-friendly boulevard, which is phenomenal news. Moises says, I would love to see a tour of Graceland Cemetery. Yes, you will see that very soon. Especially now that the trees are going to be in bloom. The one thing, Moises, though, I'll say that I'm not sure about the reception in Graceland. So if it's bad, I might have to figure something out. But we'll see. It is surrounded by a neighborhood on all sides, so I'm hoping that the reception would be good. Well, this is Federal Plaza that we're in, that we were looking at the Marquette building from. Now, we're standing on the site of the former Chicago Federal Building, which was a Beaux Arts masterpiece. You should Google it. It was gorgeous. That was demolished, and in its place are three phenomenally designed Mies van der Rohe structures. The mid-century modern look, the less is more motif, designed on a grid pattern. Once you see these grid lines, you really can't unsee them, but the concrete has the grid lines which go all the way to the building and line up perfectly. So from top down view, it's a perfect grid, just like the rest of the city. There's the Alexander Caldwell's Flamingo. There's a similarly designed art sculpture in Paris, in La Défense, which is their business district. Philip says, I believe that's where they filmed the Blues Brothers. So if you look at my channel banner, my current channel banner, you'll see the flamingo, at least a piece of it. I'm in the process of changing that up. What's up, Douglas? But Federal Plaza, you have lots of stuff happening here. People meet, eat lunch. You have farmers market here. You got the field building over there, the bankers building over on there, Marquette building, and the National. So Federal Plaza consists of federal buildings, hence the name. Over there you've got a U.S. courthouse. Here you have the Kluzinski Federal Building. And over on this side you have a post office, United States Post Office, aka Federal. Also on Federal Plaza, you have the entrance to the CTA Blue Line train with a tunnel access which will take you to the CTA Red Line train. Also, you've got a pedway entrance. Up ahead you have a collection of the oldest office buildings in the Loop, although many of them are no longer office buildings. So first we'll see the Monadnock building, which is one of the tallest all brick skyscrapers ever built. Monadnock, named after a mountain in New England, with load-bearing walls, meaning at the base of the building, the brick walls had to be built extremely thick to support the weight of the building. So this is not a steel frame skyscraper. It is all brick. There's the Monadnock. You've got an Intelligentsia coffee shop right here, temporarily closed. Moisa says, I miss seeing all those fire escapes. They're really beautiful. So this is the Monadnock building, hemmed in by Federal Street. Very narrow block that continues all the way into Printers Row. You can see, if you look closely, the detail of the brick, how it curves in. It's one of the most beautiful parts of this building, is how it gently curves up. So these were the days when they would chisel the name of the building right into the facade at points that they could. This is another historic district that we are in, and all of these buildings that we're going to see are Chicago landmarks, and some of them are even national landmarks. There's another entrance to the Blue Line subway. All right, Gary, take care. Across the street, you have the Fisher Building. It's a collegiate or neo-Gothic designed structure. It was once an office building, but today has been converted into the Fisher City Apartments. And what's funny about these buildings is that we take it for granted. We take tall buildings for granted nowadays. It's commonplace, as it should be. But when this building was built in particular, people were still very skeptical of building heights. And in fact, about 10 years later, they added something like 3 or 4 floors to this building because they after a few years, they saw, okay, I guess it is safe. And there are stories about Monadnock and the Fisher Building. If you want to hear more of those stories, you can check out my Chicago School architecture video where I talk a lot more in depth about the architects, the years that they were completed, for more really relevant information. What's funny about the old Colony building, which you can see kitty corner from us, is that actually when it was built, the L tracks weren't even here. That's how old this building is, if you can believe that. Sometimes it's easy to walk around the loop and just kind of assume that the train tracks have been there from the beginning, but no. Back when this old Colony building was constructed, Chicago was a streetcar trolley bus city. All right, Jason, take care. See you soon. What's up, Natalie? Natalie will be in Chicago at the beginning of June. Can't wait to explore the city again. Moises talking about St. Stanislaus Church in Pulaski Park. I'll have to check it out. Thank you. Rounding out our collection of 19th century office buildings here on the southern portion of the loop, you have the Manhattan and the Plymouth building. This whole block is now residential. What's up, Robert? Anuj asked if I can show the DePaul building. Yeah, sure. We'll definitely get to it. Here's another view of the southern end of the Monadnock. Got a lot of old school type businesses here, like hat maker, coffee shop, and barber shop. Over here you have a cool mural depicting scenes from the city. A little artistic gem here on the otherwise disgusting parking garage. And now we are in dark night territory. So much of the Dark Knight film, Batman Begins, as well. Many scenes were filmed here. To your left, you see what remains of Chicago's first Chinatown. That's all that's left. And the only relic that reminds us of Chinatown is the pagoda sign. That's now La Cocina restaurant. So that was Chinatown from about late 1800s all the way to 1912. Before our Chinese population began moving to the Armour Square area. We're also, like I said earlier, in the financial district of Chicago. which includes various banks, the Federal Reserve, the Board of Trade, even a museum dedicated to money. Yes, that's true. The Money Museum is located in the Federal Reserve Bank building of Chicago. It is a museum that is completely free to the public. Just keep in mind, it is a federal building, so you have to go through security, like kind of like how you would in any government building. Not quite as serious as like TSA, but you do have metal detectors. You got to empty your pockets, all that good stuff. The financial district is obviously losing tenants. The Bank of America recently moved out of the Field building and into a brand new skyscraper right along the South Branch of the Chicago River, which is actually the tallest building built in Chicago in the last 20 plus years. So as we approach the financial district, you can see the Central Standard Building, which is home to Wintrust. This has always been a bank building. It wasn't always Wintrust. However, like I said, for more information, I have a complete video on the Loops Financial District where we tour around this area. So check that out. Gotta be plugging my own stuff, right? But what distinguishes this building, besides the beautiful Greek Ionic columns, is that it sits on the site where the 4 time zones were created. Which is why today it's called the Central Standard Building, for Central Standard Time. There's an e-scooter rider. You'd love to see it. What's up, Banana Shanna? And we're approaching one of my personal favorite skyscrapers, the Board of Trade building. One of the most beautiful Art Deco structures in the entire city, dating back to the 1920s when it was first constructed. These 2 statues right here come from the old Board of Trade building. They sat above the entryways and were recovered years later in a suburban park. These are next to Series Cafe, which is one of Chicago's infamous bars. Hopefully they'll reopen soon. But the Board of Trade building is absolutely gorgeous. Of course, you got that old school fire escape. And it's a very, very tall building. This is Jackson Boulevard, by the way. Well, what's not to love about the Board of Trade building? It really, truly is a This is the LaSalle Street Canyon. The Federal Reserve Bank building, like I mentioned earlier. Up ahead, you got the Rookery building, which is one of my personal favorite as far as landmark buildings of Chicago. And it harkens back to a day when skyscrapers were built and the names of the streets were etched into the side. I'm pretty sure they don't do that anymore. So you've got LaSalle Street and Quincy Street. On the other side, you've got Adams and LaSalle. It's one of my favorite views right over here. It's a very popular spot for engagement photos, graduation. If you look up the certain Chicago viral videos of the past, they record them right here. Through the alley, you can see the Sears Tower. This is actually one of the better views that you're gonna get of it because it is so mega tall and usually blocked by other buildings. But here you can see, you get a pretty complete view of it. It's only blocked at the bottom by the Quincy Street L station. Alejandro asks if this is the place where the scene in Batman, the Joker, and the truck. Yes, it is. Yep. And so it's hard for me to watch that scene now because they, in the scene, they pass the same buildings over and over again. And I know, I'm like, LaSalle is not that long. So it kind of takes me out of the moment, but it's still a lot of fun, obviously. I hope that more and more films are shot here in Chicago. We're walking through an alley right now. It's kind of like an alley intersection right here. You can see Federal Plaza up ahead again, once again. The wind picks up on the sides of skyscrapers like this. Becomes a little wind tunnel. Then you got the Mies van der Rohe designed post office right here. Bankers building right here, which is now referred to as the Clark Adams. And I believe they're trying to subdivide this building into micro apartments. We talked about this yesterday, and you can see the name of this street is Boulevard. So why Jackson Boulevard? Well, that's because it leads directly to a park. So Jackson Boulevard will take you directly to Grant Park. See the courthouse building up ahead, and directly to our left is the Klozinski Federal Building. No trucks are allowed to drive on any boulevard in the city of Chicago. I wouldn't call that useless info. I'm waiting for the day where cars won't be allowed to be driven on boulevards. And hopefully it will just be bikes and personal electric vehicles. When you are down here and you're crossing streets like this, you do have to look out for bikes. Sometimes people get caught not looking. Dan says I endorse that idea. Moisa says big time ticket. There's the Garrett's popcorn. So after I did the Logan Square walking tour yesterday, I started doing some digging on the internet, as I normally do. I'm always researching stuff. And I saw a WTTW production with Jeffrey Bear from 2015 called Biking the Boulevards. So that's pretty fun. Here's the Chicago Bar Association. It's a pretty quiet street, Plymouth. Moisa says best popcorn in the world. What's up, Bonifacio? Here is the other side of the Fisher Building. And among these old office buildings, this collection of Old Colony, Manhattan, and Fisher, Monadnock, what's nice is they're not just facades. They look the same on all sides. It's really, really incredible. Up ahead is the Harold Washington Library stop for the CTA. Harold Washington Library is the main branch of the Chicago Public Library system. Up ahead you have part of the DePaul Loop Campus. Believe it or not, this large building was once a department store. Today is home to DePaul University, private Catholic college, the largest private Catholic university in the United States. And here comes a Purple Line train. This building up ahead that you see was also a department store. A couple of different department stores, in fact. Was even one time a Sears. Lil John 619, yes. Purple Line to Linden. Yep. This is the Driehaus College of Business. Anuj will be attending College of Computing. Very nice. Got a little bit of street art over there as you start approaching the South Loop, which we toured last week. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of South Loop. Even though it did get a little windy at one point, we still have fun. What up, Michael? This is the southeastern corner of the Loop L tracks here at Wabash and Van Buren. And we're in a parking lot, which is not too exciting, if I'm being perfectly honest. But you can see the former CNA building. It's red, stands out. It's not home to Northern Trust. There's another purple line to Linden. Dan says useless use of space in the middle of the city, car-centered development rather than people-centered. I completely agree, Dan. So we are on the DePaul Loop campus. So we just saw the Driehaus College of Business. This is the College of Law. Up ahead is the College of Computing and Digital Media at DePaul University. This is the Lewis Center, which is home to the College of Law. And actually, the DePaul Loop campus goes back a lot further than you might think. Over here you have a former piano warehouse that former home to Steger. And over here at 23 East Jackson, you've got another Gothic building, at least at the base. Got some Gothic details. However, across the way you have a little hidden gem of Chicago. If you go into this alley, I don't know why that guy was going so fast, he almost hit me. You have a little hidden gem coffee shop right between these buildings. And this building over here dates back to the 1800s. This is Hero Coffee Roasters. Definitely check them out. is a famous Instagram location too. Ash says, I'm thinking about those buildings that were hollowed out to widen the streets. Creerish says, love the videos. I'm going to Chicago in October. Very cool. SKKS has been to this coffee shop. Moises says, awesome. Over here you have one of the oldest shops in the Loop, Central Camera, since 1899, with this beautiful neon sign that I just can't get enough of. Yes, Tommy Boy is actually undergoing a renovation. What up, RM? I appreciate the videos. Going to Chicago Memorial Day weekend. Nice. So you should be able to see the Buckingham Fountain on all its glory. Also, most of Chicago is open. Indoor dining is back. So, really great time. Stilla says, check out Parkline Condos. We're headed west, or I'm sorry, east, on Jackson, toward Michigan Avenue once again. Too many chain restaurants in the Loop. Sickening. But like I said, Jackson Boulevard leads right to Grant Park, and you can see that up ahead, that park space. Apologize for the wind noise. We're in between skyscrapers, so you know how it is. The Paul CDM Center. This is also the end of Route 66. So it ends and begins here. It begins on Adams and ends right here on Jackson. Lil John says all the way to Santa Monica Pier. Up ahead you can see the Art Institute on your left. Grant Park is up ahead. We explored that extensively last week.
supplemental draft.
And along Michigan, you have a lot of historic landmarks. Now this is the South Garden of the Art Institute of Chicago. A little gem here, somewhat hidden. Usually not going to be crowded, but it is a great place to visit. The fountains are still not on. It's a nice little respite. This garden has won several awards over the years as an excellently designed example of landscape architecture. So the Art Institute actually has two gardens, one on the north end and one on the southern end. Got some beautiful trees that provide shade. A nice gentle breeze coming off the lake. Usually this fountain is on, which provides even more peace and tranquility, but it's currently off. And then you can see the side of the Art Institute of Chicago. It's Beaux Arts. Beautiful design, and the names of several artists inscribed into the cornice, if you can call it a cornice. Beaux Arts buildings look a lot like neoclassical buildings, but they are definitely two different styles of architecture, though they are closely related. Beaux Arts takes neoclassical, multiplies it by 100,000. So that's why you have the Greek columns, the keystones, the bas reliefs, the little balconies, the arches. And then off in the distance, you can see the South Loop residential towers once again. They're so big you can't miss them, especially because they stand right on the southern portion of Grant Park, where the Illinois Central Station once stood. Michigan is definitely one of my favorite streets in the city to walk up and down. Lots to see. Can't do it in one trip because there's just too much. You can see some of the planters here at the Art Institute as we approach the main entrance, the traditional entrance. The modern wing entrance can be found on Monroe. And usually it's a little less busy, although right now it doesn't seem busy at all. The two magnificent lion sculptures, which date back to 1893, as does this building. This was actually built for the World's Fair of 1893. It was the World's Congress Auxiliary Building. B&G says, did I know the 5901 Thorndale Beach in Edgewater was the building facade they used for Bob Newhart show? Yeah, were you the one that commented that on my Edgewater tour? If it wasn't you, then yeah, somebody else told me about that. And I looked up the Bob Newhart show intro a couple days ago, and it was pretty funny to see how downtown Chicago along the river has changed so much. There's the Railway Exchange building with the Motorola lettering on top. Usually this part is open, but I think they're doing some kind of renovation here. What's up, Oliver? Got some cool purple flowers here. I think these are pansies from like Animal Crossing. So if you want to see what Chicago looked like in the 70s and then the late 80s, check out the Bob Newhart show intro and then the Perfect Strangers show intro. And you'll get some cool scenes from that era of the city. Pretty dope, I say. So the Art Institute is home to many works that you just must see, like American Gothic, Whistler's Mother. There's a huge collection of Monet and Impressionist paintings. A big portion of the Art Institute Impressionist collection comes from Bertha Palmer. And many of those paintings were once on display in the Palmer Mansion in Gold Coast. But the Art Institute has European art, American art, African, American Indian, Asian, Middle Eastern. You could go on and on and on. It has art and artifacts from all eras, Japanese woodblock printing, Renaissance paintings, Rodin sculptures. One of my favorite collections in here is architectural relics from demolished buildings around Chicago. There's a recreation of the trading room of the old Chicago Stock Exchange. And this is the beginning of Route 66. Got the Filipino flag over there. Oops. There is the facade of the Art Institute. And along this, you can find lots of bus routes, like the 151 and the 3. And we're approaching the North Gardens of the Art Institute, these gardens are equally as beautiful, but very different. Over here you have some sculptures, and then you have some different artist names over on this side. But the gardens are beautiful. Let's check out some of the sculptures in here. got some more prairie gardens here. And then another great view. You got lots of park space along Michigan Avenue right here, and a really beautiful set of flagpoles as well. Not sure what flags they used to fly, and I haven't seen them fly flags in quite a while. Over here, this sculpture is untitled by Ulrich Ruckreim. If you guys want to see more of the loop, make sure you drop it in the comments below. Also, let me know what other neighborhoods around Chicago you'd love to see on a live tour. Check out my Patreon and join that community for voting power so you can choose the next neighborhood walking tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this live walk of the Loop Chicago, Millennium Park, Maggie Daley Park, etc. On your way out, go ahead and finesse that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive community and bonus content. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you next time. Peace, blessings, I'm out.